So there has been a lot going on in a lot of stuff as far as media and entertainment go. And as you can tell by my last couple of videos, in my background there's this huge Marvel poster, and in a video long time ago, I mentioned that I am a huge Marvel fan, and so as a Marvel fan, we just got a lot of information, and it took me a good couple of days to kind of figure out what to do with it. I still don't really know what to do with it, so I wanted to talk to you about that and mainly just sort of get my thoughts out there. So if you have not seen the Age of Ultron trailer, or heard anything about it, or don't really know anything about it, now would be a good time to leave and to just see me next week because that is something I'm about to get into, because we got a lot of information and I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts were on it, and what your theories are, and what you hope to happen and think is going to happen, and stuff like that. So I wanted to share from Marvel to Marvel. So first of all, we get this scene where they're all hanging out and team bonding, and Rhodey's there, and Maria Hill is there, and everybody's there, and then we have this mystery woman who's there, and I really want to know who she is and what she does and how important she's going to be in this film. But we also don't know that because you only really see like her outline and the back of her head in the scene where they're like hanging out and messing with Thor's hammer. I would say the name of it, but I probably don't say it right, so I'm going to skip that part. And I like that they're team building, and everybody's like, oh well, why does Ultron know all of the like Pinocchio and stuff? And I just think it's funny that they think that it matters, and oh well, because Disney owns it now. And I'm like, I don't care why it's in there, it's still weird and creepy, and good job to you guys for doing that, because I don't really need to know why he knows it. He does. It's creepy. It got the job done. So, and then we also find out in the same trailer that Ultron is, of course, insane. And then he builds this huge Hulkbuster because he kidnaps all of Tony's armor and just sort of leaves us like, what are we supposed to do now? And I'm not really concerned about that, really. Although, if you have seen certain things, you know that they get it handed to them. They kind of get their butts kicked and have to go into hiding, which I am honestly not surprised, because we barely made it through the Avengers, and that was, I think, dumb luck and last minute planning in Cap. So I'm not surprised that in this one they get it handed to them and they kind of have to go on the run, and now they kind of have to build up this team foundation that they actually need to move forward, not only with the Avengers, but with their individual plot lines as well. Like, they have to do this to kind of go forward, and I think that that's really important, that we finally see a movie or movies where all the individual plot lines are really great and the together plot line is pretty great, but you see them working on it. You don't see them kind of fall into it and they're instantly friends. And in Cap, he's kind of by himself, and in Cap 2 he has a lot of ghosts to deal with, and in the first Avengers there's a lot of tension between Tony and Steve, and it's not a big surprise that they are the ones to still have problems. And going into this, I'm really, really concerned that the way, if you don't know already, we're getting the Civil War, which is something I've wanted since about the end of the X-Men trilogy, and since I started doing research on Marvel and learning basically everything I needed to know or wanted to know, and now so it just keeps growing. So Civil War is really important to me. It's something I've really wanted for a long time. So we're leading towards that. I've felt that for a long time, that we were leading towards that, and so we're finally getting there. And I feel like the way they're going to get there is just really concerning. Like, it could be way worse than it actually like was, I don't know, originally written, I guess. And so I'm just kind of worried that it's going to be like this huge, big, like, way worse than it really is, and I am not ready. Like, it's weird to say, like, oh, like, it's weird to say within under 5 minutes of each other, I've wanted this for a really long time, but I'm also really concerned because of these reasons, because I know it happens. I know that's going to be really bad, and a lot of stuff is going to happen, and so I'm not surprised about that, but that doesn't make me less worried for it. So I'm just kind of really concerned for Steve, if anybody else. Like, I'm not worried a lot for a lot of people in this, because I know the assassins are going to be fine. Like, Bucky's going to be okay, and Natasha's going to be fine, and Clint's going to be fine. Like, I know that. But I don't know that Tony's going to be okay. And I don't know that Steve's going to be okay. And I want to say, well, I don't know if Thor's going to be okay, but he's Thor, so he'll figure it out, or something. He'll be fine. So I don't have any fear for him, unfortunately, because I know that he's going to be okay. So, the two big people that lead the Civil War, I'm actually really concerned for. And another concern I have, just for the Age of Ultron, not even anything beyond that, but the Maximoff twins. And not a lot of people that I've encountered in my life really know who they are, or what they do, or where they come from, or like their lineage. And so I am very excited that not only was Quicksilver in one movie, but he was in 2 movies this year. And it of course created like a legal battle for like the big parent companies of these movies, which, whatever, you guys can do whatever you want as long as I'm getting good movies. And so Quicksilver was in 2 movies this year, and he's, so I'm very excited for them, because Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are very interesting characters, and they have very interesting backgrounds, and who their parents are. And if you don't know who their parents are, I will leave that one for you guys to kind of go and look up, and come back and let me know what you think, because it's pretty interesting, and I like it, and I like the direction they could take with it. But in Age of Ultron, I'm very concerned that they're not on the right side of this fight. And, I mean, of course, if you saw the end of Captain America 2, and you obviously stayed for the post credits, you know that they come from a facility. They aren't the work of magic. They're the work of miracles, as it says. And so I think, coming from where they're coming from as far as the cinematic universe is concerned, they very well could be in the wrong side of this fight. And, that's not to say, obviously, they're not going to find a way to spin it and bring them to the side of the Avengers. That's obviously not impossible, because they're very good at that. And the cinematic universe has been doing very well since Marvel Studios became a real situation, since it wasn't just them loaning out their rights, it was them embracing their rights. So I'm not worried that they're not going to end up on the right side of this eventually, but it's very plausible that it could take a majority of the movie. It could take, a lot of work, just like it did in Avengers, for them to even become like a team together. And so now we have more people, and so now I just want them to do well, and I want everybody to be okay. And we have a lot of information, and, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know it sounds like, oh, well, unrelated, like, if you don't watch it, but, like, you get important information from that, too. And so that's not making me less concerned for anything, really. Like, it's making me a little more concerned, because there are certain things that are happening, because it's kind of like our filler. It's kind of like, here's what we are doing on the big screen, and in between that, here's what you need to know for the little bits in between. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has got some stuff going on right now, and I'm very worried for Coulson. And I don't know what's happening with him, or in regards to the cinematic universe, and that's worrying too. So I'm just kind of really not sure what to do with all of this information, except be very, very excited that we have the Civil War, because that is something I thought I wouldn't see for a very long time. And so now that I do, I am very happy about that. And when it comes out, I'm sure that there will be a video about it, of me kind of just ranting and raving and praising it, because that is my whole Marvel dream. And it's not to say, oh well, once Civil War is over, I don't know what to do, because we also have the Infinity Gauntlet. And if that is not a prize in and of itself, you are wrong, my friend, because holy crap. Okay, we get Civil War, and then in the same announcement, we get the Infinity Gauntlet with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I knew. I saw that coming. Like, you don't put the main bad guy of a comic in a movie if they're not completely related. Like, if they're not totally related. So I saw that coming, but it doesn't make me less excited for it. It makes me more excited for it, because we have this new team of superheroes that is totally amazing and badass and totally unafraid, and they get to go into this. Well, I guess not really them, because they know what they're doing. We, as an audience, go into this with not the same expectations, with not the same stuff. So there's a lot going on, and it looks like they're doing it correctly, and I'm proud of that. So I just wanted to kind of get this all out there and say that I am so proud of Marvel and so proud of Joss Whedon and everybody else who's doing work on this. And I know it sounds like, oh well, I'm talking to them, but I'm so proud, because they started off as this little, studio, and they weren't sure that they were going to make it, and they took a chance doing what they did with Iron Man, and now, years later, they're doing some of the biggest storylines that have come out, that they've done throughout, their 75 years. And so I'm very excited, and I'm very proud of everything that Marvel is getting the chance to do. And so I want you guys in the comments below to let me know what you think is going to happen and how you think the cinematic universe is going to go. Or maybe you could tell me the differences that you think shouldn't really be different between the movies and the comics. But like for all of this Marvel ranting, because I could do it all the time if I really wanted to. And definitely give it a thumbs up for the Civil War alone, because that is like, come on. And subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Maybe with more ranting, you never know, because Marvel likes to just keep us on our toes. So until then, you guys enjoy your weekends and stew on this Marvel information, and I will see you later. Bye!